and let's talk a little Jets right now. One of the best players to ever put on the Jet uniform, the pride of Hofstra and Garfield, New Jersey. Wayne Chrebet joins us now here at ESPN New York. Wayne, Jake Asman with you. Thanks so much for popping on.
Thanks, Jake, for having me. Appreciate the nice introduction and the compliments.
So, Wayne, I'm going to start with a training camp-related question because there's that famous story that when you showed up for your first training camp with the Jets, the security at Hofstra, right, they didn't think you were actually on the team. Is that story that everyone just throws out there every year, is that story accurate? How exactly did that play out back in the day?
The one from 31 years ago?
Yep.
It's like, when you caught that fish when you were out there with your buddies, and 10 years later it just gets bigger and bigger. Yeah, listen, just walking there, the way it was set up, a little security booth there. But, I came from class. I just had my lid low and my backpack. I came right from class. And he just wasn't sure, and someone just kind of said, no, he's cool. But, I ended up being very good friends with the guy, Harry Fisher. But that was my initial introduction to the NFL, was having to wait there by the fence, looking at my teammates walk in.
It's amazing how quickly things could change. From a player standpoint, what is this time of year like for players a couple of weeks out from camp? Did you start increasing your workload intensity? Did you want to be as rested as you could be? Well, how in your career did you best approach getting ready for camp with a couple of weeks out?
You know what? It didn't change much over the years. But initially, going into my first year, I wanted to be in the best shape possible. So, it's just a lot of route running, hill running with parachutes. And as the years went on, just to get in even better shape, started doing boxing. Parcells always told me, do boxing, work on the footwork, a lot of jumping rope. But I swam a lot with a snorkel, just a snorkel and swam to expand my lung capacity. Because in the fourth quarter, you're only breathing through your mouth. So little things like that kind of help me. But everybody does things different.
Wayne Chrebet, Jets legend, Ring of Honor member, with us here on ESPN New York. Wayne will be appearing at Gangrene Beach Club this Saturday at HQ2 in Atlantic City. If you want to meet Wayne and a bunch of your favorite Jet content creators, reporters, all in one spot, gangrenebeachclub.com. I got some questions for you on that, Wayne, because I'm excited to be hanging out with you Saturday. But, in terms of that initial training camp with the Jets, I mean, when did you realize you had a legitimate chance to make the team as an undrafted free agent? Because you're coming into the league out of Hofstra of all places, and I think there were 10 or 11 players in front of you on the initial depth chart. So was there a moment early on when you had a feeling maybe I actually can make the Jets roster?
There was 11, actually, receivers. I've heard it's up to like 16 now. You know what? It's just a situation where just wanting to get an extra rep here and there because, but for someone who got money, someone who got a sign bonus, there's more opportunities because they invested in you. But this is the way I explain it. This guy was hurt. This guy was dropping passes. This guy wasn't in shape. This guy didn't know the playbook. And just based on that, kind of moving up. And then, you get a coach height. First game I didn't play. Second, I played a little. And third, you saw the video where he says, Chrebet, get in there. And that was the first quarter of the Jets-Giant game, which was big because I had everybody there because I figured that's the only time they're going to see me ever play in that stadium growing up there. And then the fourth preseason game, Coach was like, I'm going to start you. And right after that, just walked in the next day at number 80 instead of 3 and got 11 years out of it,
Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. In terms of this year's Jets team, last year, of course, your former teammate Aaron Glenn takes over. I think he would admit, he has said, not the year he wanted, incredibly disappointing. So many changes to the roster and the coaching staff. When you look at where the Jets are at right now, do you still have optimism for this upcoming season? Where are you at in terms of this year's team?
Man, come on. I always have optimism. I always argue with Lavernius because we've done stuff together. He's the realist. I'm the optimist. But listen, if you look at it, what they've done, the moves they made, they got rid of the Sauce. They got all the picks. They didn't even have to use the picks to try to move up from Mendoza. They had Mitchell throwing in with the Sauce deal. He's going to be there 2 or 3. People don't talk about that. The draft, even you pundits and you professionals even gave him an A. So yeah, it's a better product, but the best way I can explain it is at the end of the year, people were making plays, and everyone's like, I never heard of these guys. That was the point. No one ever heard of me either. The point was to see what they can do, not going into this year, but at the end of next year, at the end of last year. So now they already switched another dozen guys in there, and now it's just getting the new guys involved. But, yeah, it's a better product. Looking forward to a great training camp. And last year, 100% people attended. There's no holdouts. There's no contract stuff, and that's a big thing going into it.
Frank Reich, you got to know him in your rookie year, right? 1996, when he was the Jet quarterback then. Now he's the offensive coordinator for Aaron Glenn. Your thoughts on Frank Reich and how he potentially pairs up with Geno Smith, a veteran passer, is now back with the Jets as well?
Yeah, quick story. When people ask me, I caught passes from 15, 16, guys. Obviously I spent the most time with Vinny and Chad, success-wise. Boomer has a special place in my heart. He kind of took me in. It was really no vet, and he gave me a hard time, but it was worth it. But Frank Reich threw like the nicest ball you could ever catch. Like even you could catch it. It came down like so soft, perfect spiral. The year actually Boomer's back was Bubby Brister, and that's a whole different kind of guy. But Frank was such a nice guy, threw such a great ball, some good memories. And yeah, he's perfect for Geno. And I don't know if you remember, I announced Geno at Radio City.
You did, yeah.
So I saw it on YouTube. I had much more hair. I was thinner. I actually had real hair, dark hair. So that's how long ago, a dozen years ago. But it's a redemption story. But the funny thing about that was, in the back they hand the card on the pick, right? Fidel has the card, and it says, Jets, Geno Smith. He looks at me, he says, good luck. Didn't know why. It was pretty much the only time I've been sort of booed in my life because I said with whatever, Jets select Geno Smith from what it was so loud and kind of booed, kind of not. I was just like, wow, this is insane. So he deserves a chance to come back. I'm glad he wants to come back, and based on the weapons, I know you want to talk about these guys they got. He's in a good situation right now.
Wayne Chrebet is our guest here at ESPN New York. One of the weapons they added was a guy they traded up for at the end of the first round, a receiver, and Omar Cooper Jr. From your experience, Wayne, how long will it take for a guy who's a rookie, who's going to be counted on, to get acclimated within the offense? What could you expect from Cooper in year one with the Jets?
Yeah, I expect a lot from him. I mean, he's coming from obviously the winning program. Him along with Sadiq and some of the other guys they got. I mean, they got enough weapons that they can kind of spread it around so there's less pressure on him. He from what I know, he's run great routes, got great hands. It's the perfect situation, a veteran quarterback like that, because the slot guys and the tight ends, that step away from the, in the slot, that's the guys they're going to go through. It's easier to throw, high percentage stuff. So he's looked good. He's got the right attitude, but it's the whole team. It's just, I've been in the building. The atmosphere is different. The vibe's different. I know that doesn't equal wins, and I talk to AG all the time, but, it's a start. He put the, highlights of when we made playoffs when we were there. People in the building weren't there, didn't even know we were a winning team. Now they see this and like, oh, you guys used to be good. People need to understand. I know it's been a very long time, but I think we're on our way back.
Only 15 years since the last playoff trip, Wayne, but hey, who's counting?
Hey, I left 21 years ago. I won the East twice. So I can't be held accountable.
I'm not blaming you. I wish you still could play. Maybe you still could play. You'd be better than some of the receivers they put out there the last couple of years, that's for sure.
Listen, I got one more good route in me. I can catch anything. Wherever I go, people just throw shit at me. Sorry. I'll always be able to do that. It's funny. We go out, my son's starting, quick story, freshman football, and I take these kids out, and I'm like, all right, now I'm going to teach you how to catch lefty. And they're like, what's that? I'm like, you have to learn how to catch lefty. And these kids don't realize this is an actual thing. Catching lefty, this and that, doing certain things. And that's the part I miss about it. And I do watch these kids these days. But my biggest pet peeve, if I could tell any receiver anything, because you say I could, be better, is to stop getting 5 yards on 3rd and 6. Or stop getting 8 yards in third. That's what drives me the most mad, is not getting first downs when they need it.
It happens all the time. They run the route short of the sticks. It's brutal.
Dude, it's brutal. It is so brutal. But yeah, when I go to training camp, and I got a chance to talk to Garrett Wilson last year, and he's nice enough to talk with my son Cade, who played at Catholic. Super guy. So glad he resigned. But I told him before he signed, I said, if you win here, man, you're on Mount Rushmore. I'm like, you'll never pay for anything ever again. And he understands the history and how bad it's been, and I'm glad he stayed around because he's a big building block on this team.
Wayne Chrebet is our guest. Obviously, when you played with the Jets, it started with the coat tight era, and then you're there for the turnaround with Bill Parcells. But people always bring up the '98 team and the offense that you guys had with you and Keyshawn and the great offensive line and Curtis, of course, and Vinny Testaverde, who at that time was a journeyman quarterback who kind of needed to be in the right environment. I've heard some try and make the comp that Geno with these offense could do something similar. Do you buy into any of that as the optimistic Jet fan that you are, Wayne?
The optimistic. Yeah, listen, if you go back to '98, and I've seen it, he had like 1,100 yards. I had close to 1,100. He had 9, and I had 8 touchdowns. We were, I think, top 3 tandem-wise, statistically and in my mind. But then we had a whole first ballot running back. We had a Pro Bowl fullback that had 80 catches, and Richie Anderson. You know what I mean? I mean, with that offense, that spreading that out. I mean, that '98 team was crazy. And then obviously Vinny made the Pro Bowl. But yeah, having the veteran, and it's a mix of young guys, some guys who've been there. We talked about Sadiq maybe a little, but Mason Taylor coming back, Ruckert playing his part. That's perfect. We're all 11 person is knows in a run. And a small offense coordinator, he knows enough to put people in the right situations. So yeah, it has, you can compare it, but the veteran quarterback is the biggest thing, is having someone that's seen it all and been there.
I know that you're considered one of the best underdog stories ever, and certainly in New York sports. Obviously, the Knicks win a championship, and the story behind them and Jalen Brunson, I know, captivated the entire country, especially here where we're based. Were you following the Knick run? What were your thoughts on watching them win, especially after that conversation you had with Garrett where you said if you win in New York, everything's different for you. There's no better place.
Dude, Jake, I've been a Knicks fan so long, and it's kind of like being a Jet fan during the Brady era. It was being a Knicks fan during the Jordan and Bird era. Like, it's just wrong timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be in the AFC East when Brady had his the dynasty. But I've been such a big Knicks fan, and watching Jalen Brunson, and what people said, was he going to, be the guy, or they should have got someone else. Just watching what he did and the comebacks they made, were otherworldly. Even games I thought they were going to come back, but I'll never forget Jalen Brunson's interview after the game. Like, it makes me upset now. He couldn't talk. Like, he was so overwhelmed with emotion, and his dad, and and whoever did the interview, she was perfect. She gave him a chance to collect himself, and then she knew when it was time to let him go. But just watching him, I was like, I think that's how I would have been, and I think that's perfect for New York sports. Now, Jalen Brunson is forever as a icon in New York sports.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, Asmaniacs, listen up for a second. No matter what you're watching, whether it's New York sports or any game you didn't plan on caring about, there's no better way to stay locked in than with PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy made simple. You're just picking more or less on player projections. That's it. No complicated lineups, no nonsense. Just you versus the numbers. And here's why I love it. Even if it's a game you normally wouldn't care about, once you got a lineup going, you're locked in. Every play matters, every drive matters, every at-bat matters. I've been mixing sports too. Maybe a little football, throwing some baseball, maybe some basketball, and now you've got action across the board all night, and PrizePicks makes it even better with features like early cash outs if your picks are hitting, the ability to mix multiple sports in one lineup, and you can even see what other people are playing and tail their picks. So if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, it's HMA on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. Jet legend Wayne Chrebet with us here. Will be appearing at Gangrene Beach Club at HQ2 in Atlantic City this Saturday. Tickets available for $25 at gangrenebeachclub.com. Wayne, you mentioned that your son got to meet Gary and he's starting to play football. Have you thought about coaching? Would you ever get into coaching as something you would do?
No. In pro-wise, no, because I wouldn't want to coach someone like me. It was crazy. And the hours are too nuts. But, no, I help. I help on the side. I take the kids to the field. But my middle son played at Catholic University. He was captain. He just graduated. And my youngest one, I made them wait till high school to play tackle. So he's going to be a freshman tackle first year. So coach-wise, no. But, not in the program, but certainly helped out best I can. I didn't play tackle football until I was a sophomore in high school, right?
I did not even realize that. I had no idea it was that late. What took so long to start playing?
Well, it's the same situation. I was a basketball player. I wanted to go play basketball, and I broke my ankle at basketball camp 15 minutes in before my freshman year, and then sophomore year, I was like, I'll give it a shot. So I made both them wait. So at this point, they're stronger, the neck's stronger, and it's their decision. It's not my decision to play. Like some parents kind of push their kids, too young. But another 4 years to be excited by watching my kid play.
That is awesome. So I know you certainly have that to look forward to. A couple quick hitters for you before we wrap this up. I mentioned the event that you're a part of with a bunch of us down in Atlantic City on Saturday. There's going to be a ton of Jet fans there. In your career, being a guy from Jersey, playing on Hofstra, you're basically, as beloved as any player that's played for the franchise the last 30 years. What's the craziest or the most hilarious interaction you've ever had out in public with another Jet fan?
There's too many to list. I'm sure I'll get into it. Oh, real quick, I asked what I was supposed to do, and it said strictly meet and greet. You won't be hounded. Some people might have the fans hound me. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like you'll be in. This is from you. Your people, Jake. You'll be in a special
My people are nuts, Wayne. We're nuts. We watch so much bad football. We're crazy.
You don't hide me. You bring me out there. I'll sign for everybody. I'll take pictures with everybody. I love the stories. Looking forward to it. I hope people come down. A lot of big names there. So much knowledge of Jets football, past and present. I listen to a lot of these people on the podcast and the shows. So, I hope people come down to AC this weekend. Like I said, anybody can come up to me. But as far as stories, the last one I remember that stands out is I was doing a signing with Lavernius, who's my buddy, and a guy came up to me, 5'3", 5'4". How tall are you?
5'8".
Don't lie. All right, I'll give you that. So he comes up and he said, I've always wanted to meet you. Now, I've had someone meet me and start crying. Because they always – we make people believe in things. You know what I mean? That's not possible sometimes. Sometimes you mean a lot to certain people. But this guy says to me, do you think you would have had a better career if you were taller? I'm like, what does that mean? Like, if you're taller, I'm like, I don't understand what that means. So, it's stuff like that where people just say, they just diarrhea out the mouth. They just don't know what to say. Like, do you think your skill set was, suited the NFL? I'm like, I played 11 years. I'm like, what are you talking about? Talk to Jake Asman. Talk to Robbie Sable. They know the goods about me. You know what I mean? They know.
Well,
listen, I appreciate you having me down there.
Wait, I got to ask you the question then. I mean, would you have had a better career if you were taller?
Who, me? No. Yeah. Listen, if I changed anything about what I did, people asking me, they would joke, what would you done? I would have been like, oh shit, I would have went out of bounds. I would have went down, no, sorry for cursing. I would have done nothing different. If I didn't fight for the extra yard, foot, inch, if I didn't react this way to the crowd, I didn't try to do this, try to be like this to the fans, I would not be talking to you right now on the show. And no one would remember my name like they do now. And that's true. And I try to reciprocate that when I played, and I still do these days for these people who still come spending their hard-earned money that, I wish I would have got it done for them so long ago, and just to hang in there because I'm right next to them, hoping it happens for them this year.
Love it. Wayne, we will see you on Saturday. Appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to hanging out and watching all these crazy, Jet fans come up to you and say that, hey, what would you have been like if you were taller?
Listen, do you know they're all shorter than me then, right?
You're not wrong.
Well, whatever the best comments, I'm going to write them down. So next time we talk, we'll go over it.
I love it. See you Saturday, Wayne. Appreciate you.
Down there.
Wayne Chrebet with us. Come beat Wayne. Gangrene Beach Club. Really cool event at HQ2. Tickets $25. 12 to 6 is the event start time. Wayne will be there. If you're a Knick fan, by the way, Larry Johnson is going to be there taking pictures with fans as well. So Wayne Chrebet, Larry Johnson, Jet Knick fans will be in heaven on Saturday at HQ2, GangreenBeachClub.com.
Here we go. Don't miss out on the biggest and best meetup of the year. Saturday, July 11th, Atlantic City, New Jersey. HQ2 Beach Club. We're taking over, baby. At 12 p.m., it's the Gangrene Beach Club. Hosted by some of your favorites. Jake Asman, Rich Samini, Brandon Tierney, Fireman Ed, Connor Hughes, Antoine Staley, Brian Costello, Ryan Sampson, Zach Rosenblatt, Will Parkinson, Frankie V, Omari Brown, Matt O'Leary, Green Bean, Ryan Delaney, Richie Marula, Robbie Sabo, Dom C, Joe Blewett, Nick Faria, Paul Boy Green Esden Jr., Bree Martinez, Nick Shine, Tyson Roush, plus a special appearance by Gangrene legend Wayne Chrebet. Get your tickets now. Must be 21 or older. Who's subject to change?
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't? You can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.